Thank you.
Thank you.
I was watching Portugal.
Yes.
We often think as if experiences are only connected with successful people, and it is kind of weird assumption, to be honest, because a lot of people who are leading a normal life here have a better story to share. Not just living here, anywhere in the world, when we think of people who are struggling every day financially or through family wise, any problem they have, they are still trying to get over it every day by struggling and fighting it. And they are not as successful as people around us. We may not even know them, but still at the end of the day, they are managing to push themselves to an extent where they are happy by the end of the day. They're doing something productive for their family. They are pushing themselves, and that is a great experience. They have great stories too.
Yes, when I was 14 years old, they diagnosticated me epilepsy.
Oh, epilepsy?
Yes.
Okay.
Epilepsy, it's a neurological disease.
Okay.
Yes, it's a disorder that affects the brain, and sometimes it comes with seizures. And and it's about the behavior of the people. Sometimes it affects me that. So when I was 14 years old, everything starts. I could say that my life was normal. My life was, yes, normal. But then I get a seizure and everything was weird, people saw me and they get
sympathize.
Yes. No, but they get crazy, what happened to you?
Kind of in shock.
Right? Yeah, they were
Kind of
shocked.
shock,
Yeah, and it was my friends and all of that, they were like, bro, what happened to you? And I was like, I don't know. So then I went to the neurologist, and then he told me that I had epilepsy. So it's where everything starts. A lot of studies. I really heard studies, that type of studies that really impact in your life, that you will remember, that you will say that, whoa, it's really weird how everything starts, right? And I remember a lot that my parents and the doctor start telling me that I can't do some things,
Because of epilepsy.
Yes, I can't drive, I can't go to parties, I can't drink. Weird, but I can't eat chocolate. I can't drink coffee. I know it's ridiculous, right?
And you were 13 when they diagnosed it?
Yeah, 14.
14.
Yeah, I was in secondary. I think
And you were surprised that you cannot drink at 14? Why?
No. It was it was normal, right?
Yeah.
I said okay. So everything goes, and I wasn't controlled. I started having a lot of seizures every day.
Oh, okay.
It was, it was really difficult for my family to support that. My mom was, she was
Are they
devastated.
working? Are they working or something?
Yeah, no, she was just with me. She didn't work, so she didn't have a job. So yeah, she was spending on me. So when everything goes, and then I found a new neurologist that start controlling me. So then the seizures disappeared.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they disappear with my new pills and drugs.
Maybe medication.
Yeah, with my medication, and then it comes my life of party. I get 18 years old, and when you're 17, 18 years old, you see your friends
Going out.
Yeah, going out to parties and all of that, and you're like, bro, I wanna be like them.
Did you feel kind of excited?
I wanna enjoy my life like them. So I started going to parties and I started drinking and all of that. So the scissors came back. Yeah. And it was like, bro, I can't enjoy my life. I hate it. And when I arrived here to Canada, it was like, oh, I have 2 years that the scissors go out, blah blah blah. So I'm going. Then I meet Tim Hortons. Okay, so I start drinking a lot of coffee. Yeah, and chocolate and all of that. So one day I get a scissor.
From here?
Yes, in my house, and my roommate, he saw me, so he called the ambulance. So when I arrived to the hospital, it was like blackout. And it was like they were asking me what happened, what's your name, all of that question that I already know. Right. So yeah, it was like Nicole Medrano, I have 19 years old, blah 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 blah. So yes, that was really shock for me. And when I was 15 years old, my mom died.
Oh no.
Yeah. And epilepsy affects your emotions because epilepsy goes with your emotions. So if you're not good emotionally, then it affects. Yeah. So the seizures came back and you start feeling like you're sick. And next year, my uncle died.
So a lot of
it was
traumatic.
Yes.
Well, you've been living here instead in Canada.
No, I arrived here to Canada in 6 months ago, I think. No, 4 months ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, it was so shock for me.
Yeah.
To pass that life, and I was like, why am I passing all of that? Like why to me, like I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Like I never make to someone something bad. There's a lot of people that they made something bad, they don't care.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I understand what you're saying though, but sometimes it's not about you being nice or not nice. Life doesn't treat people like that, and I think it's unfair for most of the time, right? And I believe I wish your mom were still around, because the way a mom or your parent could take care of you emotionally and help you through the process is a big deal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And as a mom, I'm pretty sure you can explain more than me.
Yeah. So when my son was born, he goes through a hearing screen, and he failed his newborn screen for hearing. But that's pretty common in newborns. So a week later, we had to go back and get another hearing screen, and he passed.
Okay.
We're like, okay, great, we're good, we're on a roll here, right? But when he turned 3, I noticed him saying, "What?" and presenting his left ear all the time. So he'd say, "What, mommy, what?" and give me his left ear, and I went, something's not right. So I took him to the doctor, and sure enough, he has profound deafness in his right ear, which means there's 0 hearing at all. So the only option for him was a cochlear implant. That's a big decision to make, especially because I'm making it for somebody else.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
I'm not making this decision for me.
myself.
I'm choosing what I think is best for him.
Yes.
So during that process, I was just sitting there going, I really hope we're making the right decision for him later on, that he's going to appreciate us choosing to implant him
True.
and not be angry with us for implanting him, because it's permanent,
Yes.
right? It's a
something
4-hour
you can
surgery.
change.
They put it in his head, and then he's got the piece on the outside, so it's visible.
Mm-hmm.
When we first got it, we just wanted to hide it. We're like, we're gonna get it skin color, same color as his hair, we're gonna hide it. We're gonna make sure nobody sees it, we're gonna blend it in, right? And then quickly we realized that we don't want him living his life, that's a part of him. So we're gonna make it the best thing that's ever happened to him. It's black on his head, we call it a super ear. He thinks he's a spy, he thinks it gives him super hearing, and we spun it so that it became a super positive thing in his life and not a negative thing.
Sure.
And
But
how old is he?
He's 5 now. So he's been implanted for a year, and yeah, it's the best thing that's ever happened to him. He's doing great at school.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
At
for
that
him.
age, you feel like
Yeah.
I'm a superhero.
That's right.
Yeah.
And all his friends like it, and they all want one. But what helped me make a decision is I used to work in group homes with adults with special needs, and I saw the difference between people getting help and people not getting help, and it pushed me to want to help my son, because in those instances, though it was hard and I struggled and sometimes it wasn't always easy to work with these adults, when I left and came back and they remembered my name and they remembered who I was and they were excited to see me, I knew that I made an impact.
True, I think that's the best part of the whole working place.
Right?
If you walk into like a place, if you see some happy faces who appreciate the fact that you're there for them, that is the best thing that you can actually get, you know?
Sure.
To have that at the workplace, you're blessed, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So having these grown-ups see me and be excited
Sure.
that I was working or back at the building, whatever, it was great. It was a great experience and it helped me throughout the rest of my life, and now I'm in this career.
It is great for you here that he has that support from you, that you are their family core, you know? You know, that kind of support can also come in other ways. There is like a lot of people around us sometimes. For instance, I remember that when I was a child, I was riding my bike in a really dark path. And you know, I was a really spoiled kid, so I didn't like to obey my parents. So that night I didn't use a flashlight, like to verify the road and all that stuff. And I do remember that I was riding my bike in the pitch dark of the night, because I was in the countryside of my country, which is Colombia. And there was this car coming right towards me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to move a little bit to the right so the car can pass. But as it was really pitch dark, to the right there was no road, there was a cliff. So I fell down.
Oh, shit.
And that was like really terrible. I just remember that, have you seen this movie E.T.?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like that scene when the guy rides his bike and
Yeah,
it's
me too.
like
It's
you are
like-
flying.
Yes.
Exactly, like in the middle of the pitch dark, and I was flying, and then I remember, boom,
Right.
just the hit, and I just lay back like this, and I just started to visualize like the sky, and I was like, man, I'm still alive. The first thing that I did was to touch my feet, and I was really glad that I was able to.
Yeah,
come.
me too.
You have your pretty face, okay, it's right there.
But then I tried to get up, and I was like, oh, what happened to my
Something
arm?
it's not
Oh,
okay.
No, my arm was broken into parts. This
Oh,
one, it
no.
was really terrible. And then I touched a little bit of my t-shirt, and it was kind of wet. And in that precise moment, it's kind of weird. The moon started, you know, showing through the clouds, and I just saw that I was all red,
Oh, no.
covered in blood. And then I was like, where is that blood coming from? And I just touched my forehead, and man, there was a wound that you are not going to be able to. So, moving
I can
forward,
see actually the cut right here. Is that the one?
I was with a
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay, I
right
can see
there.
that.
yeah, I was with a friend. I don't know what will happen to me if that friend wasn't there. He is really small, and he pushed me up of that cliff, and literally he saved my life.
How
very
old
night.
were you back then?
I was 15.
How old were your friend?
15 also. We
But
were,
just-
we
but
were
just
Yeah.
little
smaller.
kids.
But
Correct.
adrenaline kicks in, right?
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought you
didn't.
were.
I didn't feel any pain at that moment. I was just worried because I was to get nagged by my grandma and my mother because I didn't use the
Yeah.
Correct. So moving forward, we moved to a little shack, a little house in the middle of nothing, and there were some people that attend me. They gave me this towel and they helped me to clean my wound. They didn't know me. They just saw a poor kid covered in blood, and I received support from them. And I really want to highlight that point, that it is really important to have that support as the one that you provided to your
Yeah.
kid, and I'm really proud of you for doing
thank
that.
you.
Really special. But sometimes that help can also go from another person, you know, for the people that you are living in, from the community, and I think that is special.
Yeah,
For
physically
people
and
that
mentally.
you don't even know them.
Correct.
Exactly. Like the kind of support that we expect or we want sometimes comes from random people. That's
Yes.
exactly why we have to walk around with a smile on your face. You don't know who's gonna be impacted by the smile. You don't know. Maybe their life will be like different. You know, when you
Yeah.
walk in straight and smile. I remember the sad story. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, it opens a lot of people's eyes. I remember it was about an old person who actually walked all the way to the bridge, and he was walking along, and there are like busy people who are like walking or running, and they're like taking bus or what in the car. Nobody cares enough to like stop by and ask him what's going on. No one. You know, they're all busy with their life. I mean, we are all busy, right?
Yeah.
So this one person, he walked straight into the bridge and he was standing at the cliff, like, you know, about to jump. He's still looking around. Nobody seemed to care. He put a piece of paper right beside there, like he put it there, and he then jumped. And some people who came there after the whole thing or incident, what they found was that this piece of paper, in that paper he wrote like, if somebody, a single person smile at me through the whole way that I'm walking, a single person stopped
It could have totally
by,
switched.
I'm not gonna do what I'm gonna do.
And
I
not
mean,
one
I don't even
person-
know the story is fiction or something, but still think about that. You never know the kind of significant impact that you're gonna make just by saying, hey, how you doing? Or
Yeah.
being there for someone. You might be strangers, completely strangers. The amount of impact that you could do on someone's life,
For
it's
sure.
really big.
Yeah,
You know?
because you never know what somebody else is living.
True.
You never, like, we're not walking in their shoes. I never walked in your guys' shoes. I don't know. So if I see you walking around school and I smile, that could be the difference between a good day
And a bad day.
and a bad day.
True.
Yes.
Right?
Sometimes when you go back home and you're thinking like stuff, okay, nobody's mad, nothing good happened the whole day.
Yeah.
What are you gonna feel good about yourself? Nothing.
Yeah.
But you could make a big difference. The problem is we are all like really into ourselves. We think that it's all about ourselves. Our problems are only the bigger one. I'm pretty sure my life is really messed up. I'm pretty sure no one else has the same problem. But it's not like that. Everybody is
Everybody
going through a
lives
hell.
things.
They have their own problem they go through. We have to be more considerate.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
gotta see the bigger picture. You know, it's not just us, it's just not me, my family. There are other people out there who wish to be supported the way that I want to be supported.
Yeah.
You know? And I actually had a friend too. It's funny because I used to complain a lot. I used to be like not negative, but in the way that I used to be not really positive. Let's put it that way.
Like not caring about
Yeah, stuff like that.
just your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then I met this good friend, and she taught me a big lesson. And the real big fact is that she's always happy. No matter what, all the time she's happy, she's gentle, she's caring. She always has this good vibe. And whenever I'm around, I'll be complaining, I'll be like, yes, saying things, but she'll always cheer me up, talking about good things, talking about positive things. Even if I'm like talking about really negative things, she'll put it in a way that,
Puts a
yeah,
positive spin on
yeah,
it.
okay, there we go. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
now it's a different story. You never know. And one day, I was so confused to a point where like I was starting to wonder, how can she do this? I've seen a lot of people, a lot of different people. They all have their own problems. They don't really seem to care. I mean, after a certain point, unless you are like part of their family or like a best friend or something, we're not gonna put our head in someone else's life and try to support them or not. But for her, it's a different story. And she keep telling me like all of her friends go to her, and when they talk to her, they all go back with a smile. And she's so confident about that. And I went up to her and I asked her, "What's your deal? Why are you so happy
How
the
are you
whole
doing this?"
time? You gotta tell me." And she told me like, a couple of years ago, she's 28, I believe. A couple of years ago, before she came to Canada, she's actually Japanese too. All of a sudden, she had a headache. Nobody saw that coming. She was pretty close with her family, and the headache was really bad. And it came to a point where her parents had to take her to hospital. So she went to the hospital, and the doctor told her that her family that, you know what, we have to do a surgery because there's something wrong, and they gotta fix it right away, or else the complication will be like higher. And she wasn't really sure about this because the biggest problem was that once she's done the surgery, the chances of she speaking again is pretty much like less than 10%.
Wow.
The very fact that you cannot talk anymore
Yes.
after a surgery when you're in your prime age, like 24, that's like when we are all about ourselves, we are so confident, making friends, chilling. We are so obsessed with ourselves during that age. And exactly during that point it happened to her. And it was a big eye-opening thing for her. And there was nothing else she could do about it. Her parents didn't really want to do it, but at the same time they wanted to save her life. So they were like, you know what, go ahead and do the surgery. They did the surgery. Surprisingly, she was still able to talk after that. And that was the game changer for her.
Yeah.
she realized how important it is to be grateful for every single thing that we have in our life.
Yeah.
That's inspirational. Really nice.
Even the smallest thing, things like we don't really think about stuff like that because we have hands, we have ear, we have eyes. We use it every day. It's
We
not
have
like
to
it's,
enjoy our life.
yeah, I mean, we don't think of that instant then where we actually lose it because we have it. It's a part of us. But if we lose it, the kind of impact that's going to happen in your life, only right at that point you realize how important things are. Only when you lose it.
You notice that there is a pattern. There is one thing that we all have in common. We all have like this big struggle, and we overcome it, right? With your kid, with my fault, with your epilepsy, with your friend. That is one thing that we are all sharing, and we overcome that, and now we are like better persons, if I can say it like that, right?
Better in the sense like that's the whole point. Experiences can mold you in different ways. It depends upon how you take it.
Yeah.
Sometimes life hit you hardly, as you were saying.
I heard something that was saying that the journey, instead of asking why this is happening to me, ask what is it teaching me?
Sure.
Oh,
Yes.
nice
What
way
is
to see
it?
it.
What is it teaching me? What are these negative experiences teaching me? Why do I need to learn this?
Yes,
And it
it's
makes you a
like
better person.
enjoying more your life,
Yeah.
and most of the times I'm trying to improve myself. Like being a better person and trying to be like better with the people,
Yeah.
and always having a smile,
Yeah.
because it's how you have to be. You don't know if another people has more problems than you.
Yeah.
So
Everybody's living their own struggle.
yeah, so when everything starts in my life, I was like that. Like, it's their fault, they don't deserve the help they have. But then I realized maybe they have other problems.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So I can't be so selfish.
Yeah.
So that's why I start enjoying my life and trying to improve myself
Yeah.
to be a better person.
What a different attitude, it really makes the difference, right?
Yes.
I think that another thing that we share is that we weren't alone. You were with your friend, we were with our families, and I think that is one of the main points that we want to make here, that we are not alone
Yeah.
in this country.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that feel alone, that they are dealing day to day with their lives, and maybe they are feeling that they are not being heard, right? They are not being listened to. Maybe they feel that as they are in a different country and they are not with their family, maybe they are struggling alone. And it hasn't be, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
If you need help, I think that you should ask for it. And I think that that is one of the intentions of this channel, right?
Sure,
we are
sure.
trying to provide that, and we try to identify that we are not alone, and that if you need help, you can raise your voice, and that is
Yes.
good, and that is also okay.
Being
Yes.
part of a community, the whole idea of this or anything else, any other community. What I personally believe that when you are part of a community, when you are part of something, it's better than nothing. When you have somebody to take, like at least to be like there to listen to you, or when you feel like you belong there, that belongingness, that feeling itself make a big difference in our lives.
For sure.
When we talk about people who are like, I'm pretty sure we have all met people who are like really bad attitude or somebody who are like really
Yes.
mean. We all know that. But then we have to ask ourselves, did they actually had people to help them when they were like struggling? Maybe they didn't actually
And
have it.
oftentimes it's easier to be cranky and miserable than it is to be positive.
Exactly.
Being positive takes
takes
so
more.
much more energy.
Correct.
It's
Yes.
so much harder. Where being negative and grumpy
It's
is
easy.
easy.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just don't have to care. I mean,
But
No, it's
I
not
think-
nice outside today.
It helps you to have someone to support you. Like, maybe there's another girl that has my same problems, like epilepsy and all of that, but I have my parents, my family. What if they don't have anyone?
yeah,
Like,
sure.
I have to be grateful to have my people supporting me.
For sure.
Even friends, even my family, all of them. So that's why I'm grateful with that, having my family and my friends.
Yeah.
And maybe there's another people who maybe doesn't have epilepsy, and I don't know, they have emotional problems and they can't even speak with anyone because they don't have that person who
Right.
is going to listen to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's persons that don't know how to connect with others.
Yes.
You know, we are living in a community, but we don't know even how to talk with each other. It's really kind of difficult for them. And sometimes it's as simple as what we are doing here.
Yeah.
Now, I know that I have a part of your story right here, a part of your story, a part of your story. And this story maybe I'm going to share with someone else. And in the same way as I'm sharing my story, you have a little bit part of me in yours.
Yes.
And that is how you connect with people. That's how you do community. Feeling really great about what we are doing here.
To be open about things, to be open about people who are going to be coming into your life, or open about everything. I have seen people who are like really stubborn to the point where like they're like, this is me, this is my character, I'm not going to change. If you think like that, I personally believe you're not going to grow.
That's right.
If you feel like, if you look back like a couple of years ago and you're still feeling proud about things that you did, I mean, not everything you were doing was like right or perfect, and then I personally think we are not growing at that point.
That's right.
Yes.
We
There's always room
should
for
grow,
improvement.
exactly. We should be open to changes. We should have that open-mindedness.
Yeah.
Because some people would come into your life and make that difference.
Yes.
Maybe nobody will come, but you will see people around you who actually did something great or made this differences. That's gonna impact you. You never know,
That's
you know? So the whole point will be to be open up, to make choices for yourself when you are afraid to make the choices. I mean, it's not like you shouldn't be like afraid about the consequences. Consequences will be there, but you have to be practical
You
enough
have to outweigh the
Exactly.
risk versus the benefit.
Yeah,
benefits.
it's
right?
weird. It's like if you have like be happy with your things or being happy with your things, like
Yeah.
it's a choice.
But even when you're happy with your things, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to help somebody else, or
Yes.
to empower somebody else, or to make somebody else's day better.
All this by being grateful to yourself
Yeah.
as well. That should be a part
Yes,
as well.
be grateful.
Be grateful and be content about yourself. Then we should start to like apply all this thing so that we won't feel bad about ourselves or things that we do.
Yeah.
And talking about the choice, I still remember the time when I decided to come to Canada. Like when I was going through a lot of struggle, I remember I had personal issues back home. But when I made the big choice to come here, I studied IT here in Georgetown. When I finished the program, I started working in that field for like a couple of years. And after working in that field, I really felt like not happy, especially when the COVID started. I was pretty much stuck in my room. It was just me, my computer, myself. End of story. Every single day, the same
Very
thing.
lonely.
Exactly.
understand you.
We couldn't even go out and meet our friends anymore during that time. It was really, really. I mean, it wasn't just me. A lot of people really did struggle.
Yes.
But I'm not really negative about the whole thing that happened, because the way it happened reminded me the fact that it's no one thing. I'm not gonna be sitting in front of a computer for the rest of my life and feeling grateful about what I'm doing. No, never. I realized that just because of the COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
I wanted
It
to.
amplified
I
it.
wanted to do things better. I
Yeah.
really wanted to do things effective way, and I started to look it up. And people were like asking me, "Are you nuts? Are you really kidding me? You go." That's when I got my permanent residence in this country. I have my friends back home and here who asked me like, "You got a double degree. Are you really gonna do another program, study again, when you actually are making good money? Then you have a career. Why do you want to switch your entire career and do something new?" It was a choice that I made for myself, even when there were people who were not sure about that. But at the end of the day, I wanted to make that choice for myself because I want to be happy. And when I started this college, this EA educational assistant right here, I realized that I'm able to find people who are like-minded, who are kind, and who are different. And that's what I wanted to.
And people who are empathetic.
True.
Right.
And our field won that
Yeah.
at the same time. And it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly like the community feeling. When you are being a part of that,
Yeah.
that whole community feeling, you are being a part of something nice. You're doing
Yeah.
something great in your life.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're impacting somebody else.
True.
Right?
Yes.
So, like the field that we're doing is, you're going into a situation, maybe working with individuals who, don't have the best journey or story. But if you can be that one good thing that happens in their day,
True.
you're going to make a big impact, and you might help them, like especially if it's a small child, you might help them turn into a good adult or somebody who can contribute to society, or maybe they'll want to be like you and go to school and do all
Sure.
the things, right?
A lot of people, really a lot of people are like struggling with a lot of things that we cannot even imagine. The things that we do, there are people who wish to do these things. These are like leisure things, you know.
Yeah.
They cannot even imagine of stuff. I mean, they cannot do that. Just the way you were thinking, like back then when you were a teenager, you wanted to have fun, you wanted to go out, have like a great time. Then you see all these people out there having the best time in their life.
Yes. And you know, sometimes you see the people and say, no, they're happy. They don't have anything, but they're just pretending that they're okay.
Where are you seeing that?
Hmm?
Where are you seeing that people are pretending and being happy?
Sometimes, okay, I used to have a friend that he was normal. He if you look at him, he was happy. He used to go to Paris. He used to do a lot of things, you know, that a happy person do. But then one day someone called me and said he suicided. And it's like I get shocked because it's something that you couldn't imagine. You know, like you saw him, I saw him and I didn't know he was suffering, like he was having not a good time. And it was like, bro. And even his parents, they don't even know he was like he was bad. And that's the thing that you can ask for help.
You can offer the help, or you can offer something.
Yeah.
I could relate to that story too. I lost a friend too, and I used to blame myself to an extent that if I was there to test this person that I lost, a single message, once a while at least, say how you doing.
Yes.
I think that friend would have been still here.
Yeah.
That kind of make me feel like I'm not blaming myself to a point where I believe it's just me, but
if there was a community
it
around,
would now be like a big difference in that person's life. Imagine that she would be like still around.
That's it. I can also relate. When I was 9, my stepbrother committed suicide.
Oh my.
So, and I've thought it many, many, many times that if somebody had just reached out to him, or if somebody had just called him or checked in on him, so I was 9, so obviously there's not much I could do, right?
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I think that shifted my world into a spot where I'm like, I'm not going to allow myself to be a cranky, miserable person. I'm going to push to help people so that this doesn't happen to somebody else.
See, that's the kind of impact I'm talking about. Like, some people really do take the experiences and diverge it in a positive way.
Yeah.
Some people just can't do that.
Yes.
That's why we see a lot of people who actually have this cranky attitude, or like who doesn't really want to be around people, who doesn't want to help people, or who doesn't even want to smile.
Like that self-pity almost, right?
Yeah.
Like I could have taken that and been like, my life is over.
Exactly.
My brother's not here anymore. I'm going to be sad and miserable for the rest of my life. But instead, let's shift this and make sure that we can, even if it's one person in the time of my life.
Sure.
Is that something we can define? Is that something we can teach? Why is that experience make yourself a better person, and why is that experience made others like really cranky?
I think you're just hardwired.
Yeah.
True. Like I've said before, like I can't teach my kids empathy. I have to show them, right?
Sure.
I have to show them through my actions. So if you're not taught through actions at a young age, it's not something you're going to learn later on. So my parents did a very good job in teaching me, look at the silver lining, try to find your journey and make it into a positive experience. Try to shift it so that you're not negative all the time. Try to find the good in the bad.
Yes, and with my friend, I learned that sometimes you see a guy that is happy, but he's having a lot of problems. So when that happened, after that, I start asking to all of my friends, like, how's it going? Are you okay? Do you need to tell me something? To don't happen me that again.
Yeah.
Like being a better friend.
Yeah.
Like just showing them that they're not alone.
There is somebody there.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be open.
Yes.
Right? You have to show that you're open and ready to listen.
Yes.
Because if you're not open and ready to listen,
and
people aren't going to come talk.
Like you're not there to judge them.
That's right.
Yeah, because some of people, they don't tell you their things because they're, they think that you're going to judge them.
That's right.
Correct.
Yeah, it's we gotta be open-minded.
Yes.
That's like the whole point. We gotta be open-minded. We gotta be, and first we gotta learn to love ourselves before we start to like to try to make other people love us.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone out there really need to maybe be more open, appreciate themselves, look up to people and idolize people who actually are making something good like out of their lives. We gotta pick people like that. We gotta watch out for idols, and we gotta pick people like that as well. You know, we shouldn't just walk around and idolize someone who is like leading a completely different life in a different world. That's the problem with like social media. We see a lot of influencers out. There are tons of influencers, all these people out there, but still, even at this point, we have all these people who are like struggling with depression and all these problems. Like, can you even imagine? It's kind of contrary. Like, with all this support out there, with all these people who are trying to make this world better and perfect, how come we are like really struggling in the other side?
Yeah,
So we need a safe space for that as well.
for sure.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, Voice of Komorebi, this community, this podcast that we're trying to do, it implies and it needs to be more like that. That safe space where people could come in, people could share their point of views, their stories.
Right.
Some way, any way we could impact their life at any point in their life. That would be the best thing that we can do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's the sole purpose of Voice of Komorebi as well. And we're going to be back with more engaging contents. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.